Yeah, you must be in such an interesting part in your career for like, as a comedian, now comedians are chasing social media to then try to skip the line, but you're one of these guys kind of like, I was thinking more like a Dusty Slade, where it's like, you just get a little bit better every single year, you hit the road, you do festivals, and each year you kind of just keep incrementally climbing to now, almost 20 years later, it's like, oh, I'm doing it. It's happening. It must feel so wild.
It feels great. It happened it's like my comedy career has been like getting into a hot bath. Where like you dip your toe and you're like, what was I thinking? That is way too hot. And then it slowly starts to cool, and slowly your body starts to get acclimated, and then soon enough you drop your gents in there, and you're like, we're in now. We're in. That's what my comedy career has felt like. It's felt like a hot bath that has now gotten warm, and now I'm in the tub, and I'm like, this is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to be in Atlanta, performing at a diner in the back, but like people are buying tickets.
People are showing up.
People are showing up, and I'm pumped about it. So I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, I've seen empty shows at that diner, so you're killing it, man.
If it was a couple of years ago, I would have been headlining, potentially begging for the spot to be in front of one of those empty shows in that diner. So I like that because my career has been gradual.
Yeah,
my wife makes fun of me, but in a positive way, because she works in business, and she goes, in a business, you actually want gradual build, because some companies blow up but then crash, like a Peloton. Yep. Peloton went through the roof, and then now they're like, you can buy it at a thrift store for like $10. I don't know. No one wants their Peloton anymore. And she's like, that's not the kind of career you want. You want like steady growth. She's like, it's not sexy at all, but like it is what you want for hopefully long-term success.
Have you been mindful and intentional about that build, or were there some moments where you're like, man, I may need to quit and like go back to a day job? Like, what are the highs and lows of this steady climb?
It was always, I still have that fear. The day job is always, I still have the fear, it's just I think about it less. So 9 years in, I got to quit my day job.
Which was what?
My last day job, I worked at a mechanic shop.
Okay.
I worked in the front desk. Like, I wrote the bills. It was my best friend's dad's mechanic shop. So he was super flexible. He would let me take off as much time as I needed, and I could come back, and my job was always there. But 2015, I booked a bunch of colleges at NACA, and so I was able to quit. But the colleges dried up real quick after that. Like, I was like a one-hit wonder at NACA.
Oh, no.
NACA Nationals knocked it out of the park. It was amazing. I was set up for victory, and I had a great set. I booked like 50 schools.
Oh, that's real money.
It was like first time I've ever made real money. I was never home. I was gone for like 3 months straight. I'd come home for like a day or two, and I'd leave again. And but that gave me a career. With my next NACA, not only did I not book any schools, I lost a school that I had booked at Nationals, Leslie University. Somehow I did the same set, buddy. I did the same set, but I added a tag to a joke that I didn't add in the first time, and Leslie University, whoever's in charge of their booking at the time, saw that, and they're like, that could be problematic at our school. Called my college agent at the time. My college agent tried so hard to keep the gig. She was like, he'll do his whole act for you over the phone. And I was like, no, I won't. Like, just to like police all the material.
Right.
And I was like, we have 49 other schools. This is fine. But I never repeated that success. And then I never even got another showcase after that bad of a second NACA thing. And so slowly the colleges started to dry up. And I'm like, what am I going to do for money? And then my buddy Andrew Rivers, very funny comic out of Seattle, one day messages me on Facebook, and he's like, you want to do cruise ships? And I go, no. And he's like, they pay $3,000 a week. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And so he connected me with my cruise ship agent, and thankfully I got enough of those to I didn't have to go back to the day gig. And then so 2015 to 2017, 2018 was pretty... That whole, like, I might have to go back to a day job, that was always on the table. Then 2019 was pretty strong because by then I filmed a Dry Bar in 2017, and then it started to take off in 18. And slowly ticket sales started to creep in, but I didn't, it wasn't enough for like solid door deals at clubs, but I noticed, I'm like, there's people now. Social media numbers are growing a little bit. People are coming in, and then the pandemic was good to me. Like, a lot of people had a bad pandemic, and I'm sorry for the people that did, but like, the pandemic might have been the best thing that ever happened to me. Not just social media wise, but just pivoting and going after what I want and not doing the things I don't want to do.
Oh, what did you pivot?
Well, it was my wife. My wife, she was so tired of me complaining during the pandemic because I was like, I don't want to go back to cruise ships. I don't want to do certain clubs, you know, road clubs where you just get your pay and you get your $1,000. And
we were talking about them before the show. Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to. And then she was like, all right, then what do you want? I've heard you complain about what you don't want. What do you actually want? And I go, I want to sell tickets. And she goes, okay, sell tickets. And I'm like, you don't understand. I have to have like a venue and do all this stuff. And I had tried that before the pandemic where I just rented out my own little venue, little 75-seater, sold my tickets on Eventbrite, sold it out. And I was like, I want to do this. But I go, this is so much work and I don't know how to make it happen. And she's like, I'll help you. So she ran my Facebook ads, still does. And she's like, just give me your credit card. And I was so nervous. I'm like, how much are we spending on ads? And she's like, this much. And I'm like, good Lord.
Is it like in the thousands? Like it's a real investment?
I mean, it's not as bad of an investment now, but in coming out of the pandemic, 2022, when we tried this, it was like enough of an investment to make me sweat.
Yeah,
you know, to where we're like, and I'm also cheap. I still have road comic mentality where I'm like stealing stuff from the breakfast to cover lunch.
Oh yeah.
And you know those little like all those road hacks. Of
course.
Like, you're like, I'll go to a diner. You order oatmeal. That's the cheapest thing on the menu and the most filling. Maybe they'll give you bread on the side and they won't charge you, and you fill up. So I had that kind of mentality. So when she's talking about putting down a good amount of money on Facebook ads to sell these tickets, I was nervous, but it worked. And we started doing independent tours. So I wasn't working at comedy clubs. I was doing bars. I rented out, improv spaces. Like, improv spaces, as much as there's a beef between stand-up and improv of like those guys, us, they have these small venues that they rent out for nothing. Like they'll be like, yeah, just give us like $100. I remember this one in Pittsburgh. They rented me the venue for $100. And I sold like 100 tickets at $20, and I just kept all the profit. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and between that and the social media, the growth has happened. And now I have a management company that's been helping me out a lot. I have an agent, and they've been taking over the heavy lifting of the social media and the booking, which, booking, how much time do we spend on emails?
Yeah.
And that's been such a huge help. So now there's like a team, and I just kind of get to lay around and do stand-up, and my wife runs my ads, and then I just get to kind of do stand-up, which is what I was complaining about in 2020. She's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't want to do cruise ships. I don't want to have to do colleges unless I want to. I want to sell tickets and do comedy, and I don't want to do all this email stuff. I just want to be a comedian, and it's happening. It's so weird. It was like, you know how you like manifest things?
Yeah.
I did it by complaining.
The opposite.
Like, it wasn't a vision board, and it wasn't positive. But I was so negative that my wife's like, will you actually do something about it? Otherwise, you're just going to be this guy. And I'm like, that's true, but also how? And she was very helpful in the how.